was just a passion like nothing else can be explained, so. My name is Rodney Sargent. I am a professional street bike freestyle rider. I basically stunt ride sport bike motorcycles for a living professionally since about 2006, and I've been riding motorcycles since I was 3 years old. So my current bikes that I ride are a pair of Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R 636s, like the one sitting behind me. They're full-blown freestyle machines with custom tube chassis. Everything on them is replaced with billet aluminum, fully adjustable everything. I also have a GSX-R 1000 that I drift at high speed, and I have a pair of mini bikes, and I have about 7 motorcycles, but the ones that see the most duty are like the ones behind me, the ZX6Rs. What got me into riding motorcycles originally was I was a very small child, and I grew up at a babysitter's while my mother was working, and her sons had dirt bikes. And so I got to ride around on the dirt bikes, and they finally put me on something that was extremely small. I had training wheels, and kind of kicked off from there. I was just riding around being wild, and I got bit like everyone that rides a motorcycle, but I was doing it at a very young age, so I was completely fearless, you know, and falling all over the place and having a great time. It just kind of kicked off from there, you know. It graduated as I got bigger and bigger, and I would ride larger bikes and larger bikes until, you know, I rode motocross, and then got on my first street bike at about age 14, of course crashed it, and just started kicking off. There were times where I bounced back and forth between things, but always came back to motorcycles, whether I was drag racing cars or things like that. But there's nothing more free than riding a motorcycle. You know, just the wind in your face, the adrenaline, but you're just free. It translated from riding on the streets and being wild and a hooligan all through my younger years into riding wheelies. Like, I could probably ride a really great wheelie at maybe about age 9. So it just kind of translated into bigger bikes and, you know, pushing the limits, and then, you know, riding the streets all when I was younger as well. I rode the streets till about 2008 when we really started stunt riding a few years before. It just was getting kind of too dangerous, and we were getting tickets and just doing all kinds of wild stuff that we shouldn't have been doing. I got the opportunity to ride a few years earlier with a Monster Jam tour, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And 2006, I'd quit my day job of about 10 years and started to chase the dream. The dream is just to make memories and be able to travel and meet motorcyclists all over the place and share my craft and my passion. And so blessed to still be able to do that. What is it that makes me ride and like basically not think about the danger is just the freedom that you get from it. There's nothing like it. Anyone that rides a motorcycle of any size can, you know, attest to that. I never really worried about the danger of it because I rode in such an aggressive manner anyway that, like, most motorcyclists probably see the dangers of anything ahead of them. They're like, oh, you know, sharp corner, going too fast, you know, this thing's a little too powerful, it's too heavy, whatever. But I'm constantly a limit pusher on 2 wheels and 1, so it's just the danger of doing something on 2 wheels, you know, the balance, the everything. You never can tell what's gonna go wrong, and you have to react so quickly on a motorcycle. It's not a car. You can't just, you know, ease into the brakes and hold on the steering wheel like this. I mean, if you brake too quickly, it can fall one way or the other. You accelerate too quickly, it can, you know, ride a wheelie or do something silly. So of my bikes, my favorite one to ride, that's pretty tough because I have bikes built for certain things. So like my ZX6R, which is right behind me, it'll do pretty much everything and anything you ask it to do. It's built for war. You couldn't hurt it if you wanted to. But my GSX-R 1000 that I drift at high speed is like the most adrenaline-based thing ever. I mean, You're sliding sideways at a high rate of speed. The ground speed's usually 75 to 80 when it gets into its comfortable position. But the wheel speed's about $140, maybe 145 miles per hour. And you actually steer it with the rear wheel more than you do the handlebars. It's based off of counter steering. So the rear wheel speed actually projects the bike left to right, and you basically flick it. It can go into a high side situation faster than you can even blink. But then I've got these tiny little mini bikes that I absolutely love riding. I ride a pair of these SSR Rascals. They're 125. It's kind of like there's a Honda Grom and the Z125 and the Rascal. The aftermarket parts for them are crazy. I love customizing bikes. I'm putting crazy parts on them, and the riding behind that is like, I mean, it makes 10 horsepower. Like, it's just, you literally got to ride the piss out of it all the time. And it's so much fun. And then the group of guys that are involved with these mini bikes and whatnot right now, I mean, you've got like world famous stunt riders. The most famous stunt rider on the planet's name is Jason Britton. Everyone knows Jason. He rides for Factory Kawasaki. The first time I actually got to ride a mini bike, I was out for a MotoMantooth conference in California. I was hanging out with Jason, and he was like, hey, we're gonna go to this mini Monday night. Like, we're gonna go eat pizza and we're gonna ride motorcycles. And so I'm like, all right, cool. I don't know what to think. It's a 125, makes 10 horsepower, whatever. We rode about maybe 30 miles to eat pizza with all these bros. There's like 50 to 60 motorcycles with us. They're all mini bikes. And I instantly like fell in love with riding this thing. I mean, it's like I got all these big horsepower bikes, but this 10 horsepower thing makes you feel like a child again. It's like the most fun I've had on a motorcycle in a long time. It's not adrenaline, it's fun. I mean, we do some wild hooligan type stuff on them, and we ride downtown. We got a whole crew that rides. We got about 70 of us, and I mean, we could do the craziest stuff you could do on one of these little things. You just ride a wheelie right past a cop and they wave and laugh at you like you're just a circus clown. That kind of feeling that it gives you is pretty rad. So it's like kind of hard. I mean, I could go from 10 horsepower to 115 to 200. I think they equally all get the same love. Just as the power keeps going up, they get more dangerous. Like, if I want to go out and scare the crap out of myself, I ride my Gixxer 1000. It only takes 1 second of that to put you in check, and you're like, okay, I'm good. If someone came up to me and asked me what they potentially could do about riding a motorcycle if they're a new rider or whatever, I mean, I would obviously say go for it. If you've never ridden a motorcycle, you don't know what you're missing yet. Don't focus on the danger. Don't listen to all the hype of whatever's behind it. Listen to the positive influence of people that have many years under their belt, and you'll feel that passion behind whatever they're telling you. I mean, obviously everyone wants to warn everyone that it's dangerous and it's this, that, the other, but I mean, as a motorcyclist, most of us don't really think about that anyway. We think about that feeling you get of riding, the freedom, pulling the throttle, grabbing the brakes hard, like riding it, you know, in an aggressive manner, because I mean, who owns a street bike that doesn't ride a wheelie or, you know, grab the brakes hard or maybe want to do a burnout or something at some point? If someone asked me that there was a new style rider, I would probably recommend just buying a bike that's, this is probably my aggressive side talking, but buy a bike that's bigger than you want, because you're gonna grow into it. And motorcycles generally hold their value for an extended period of time. So like, don't be a 200-pound, 6-foot-tall man and wanna go buy a Ninja 300. Go buy a GSXR 600 or a 750, something that you can grow into and not grow out of and literally have to turn around and sell it. Like, because chances are, as a motorcyclist, just like the automotive community, you're gonna wanna customize it. You're gonna wanna make it your own. And so that being said, you've got a bike you can grow on and learn some skills. Plus, you can do anything with a 600 or a 750. If you outgrew that bike, you could turn it into a road race bike, or you could stunt ride it, or you could do, you know, it's limitless what you can do with a 600 or a 750. I think one of the things that has increased my passion for not only riding, but just life itself is being a cancer survivor. 2 years ago, December actually 15th, 2016, I was diagnosed with AML, which is a blood disease. It's a form of leukemia. And I was about 2 weeks in the disease, and it's a very fast acting disease, very aggressive. It can take your life in as soon as about 6 weeks. I'm a person that's overcome broken bones and never really been sick, and just always been a strong, positive person. And I got sick beyond you can imagine sick. It's when people say that they feel like they're dying. I've been that, and then now I've actually been dying, and it's a completely different feel. So dealing with cancer, going through the aggressive treatments with the chemotherapy, the entire time I was just focused on overcoming the cancer. I was just 100% sure I was ready to get back on my bike. You know, the doctor had said X amount of time, and I was like, yeah, doc, sorry, I'm a pretty positive person. I definitely want to jump back on the machine within the next 3 months. Where I was at mentally with it was I literally wanted to throw my leg back over a machine. Within maybe 2 months of being in remission, I was 100% sure I was going to be good to go. I feel like as soon as I got into remission, it was from just being such a positive person. All the things, all the broken bones, all the experiences in life I've had led me up to that point and preparing me mentally for that terrible news. So I overcame it. I've been in remission for 2 years now, as of last month, January. So I'm pretty pumped about that. Back on the bike full time as of last summer, and just still trying to chase that dream. But it's given me a newfound passion, obviously, for life, the things you take for granted. You know, some people didn't wake up today, and I think a lot of people need to live that lifestyle that it can always be worse. And I've always thought that, whether my leg was hanging off or, you know, any kind of broken bone or something bad happens, I mean, it can always be worse. It could be a worse crash, it could be worse news, whatever it is. I like to take that into every aspect of life, especially my riding, because obviously it is somewhat dangerous. Passion. I've done so much on motorcycles, like every type of discipline of riding. I've traveled all of the country riding motorcycles. I mean, I've ridden on the most amazing roads, and it just, again, it goes back to that feeling of giving you so much, the freedom to just ride on two wheels and have the wind going through your face. And it's just a passion that's unexplainable until you, like a true motorcyclist can bring to light. It's just a passion like nothing else can be explained.